Are we entering a brand new world of college football? Notre Dame USC may be going away after 2025. What have they just done? Have they just opened Pandora's box? We're going to get in that and all the details tonight. Tonight here on Sports Talk with Austin, and of course my co-host, my lovely friend Jackson Johnson of the Jacksonian, as we are here to give our takeaways on this news going around that Notre Dame USC's rivalry is in grave danger after 2025. What does this mean for the future of the sport? And we may take some of your call-ins as well if we have time. But first off, how you doing, Jackson? And this news kind of hit us hard because
It
we're
hits
going
me
in a new
very
direction.
hard because it's like, I love this rivalry. And it's always great seeing the Notre Dame USC rivalry, but I've been fearing this could happen for months. Like, I remember calling on the Feinbaum show in early February saying, like, when I'm hearing USC athletic director Jen Cohen say that, we'd like to keep it in an ideal world. The fact she's saying that got me kind of nervous. And I didn't like
and
the sound of it.
And just for context, for anyone that has been living under a rock, reported by On3 and a couple other websites, the historic Notre Dame USC rivalry is in danger of ending. And the two programs have played each other 95 times on the football field since 1924. So after this year, we could be seeing the end as we know it. And here's the thing, Jack. This isn't the first rivalry that we've seen leave us. The Bedlam. Yes. And here's what I fear. And listen, I don't want to say that this could be the end of college football and be all dramatic, but this could mark a historical moment in history because this is one of the oldest rivalries of all time. And the fact that it's possibly this close to being taken away from us, a rivalry that is filled with tradition and been played every year, and we're this close to losing it, I think truly this is going to open up Pandora's box. And what I mean by that is you'll see
the only times that since this rivalry started in the 1926 season, the only times it's not been played was in 1943 to 1945 and 2020. And I can tell you right now, this is not what the wives of Howard Johnson and Newt Rodney thought would happen. Like, I could tell you this. It is, if there's a way we can get the ghost of the wives of Newt Rodney and Howard Jones, now would be a good time. Like, now would be a good time to get that spell book out. Just to kind of get them talking about this game.
Yes, and here's the thing. We've already lost Bedlam, and what I mean by this is when I say open Pandora's box is we're going to see rivalries like Utah BYU, who just came back. For the longest time, we didn't have that rivalry. We just got it back. We'll see rivalries like Florida Miami go away again because we could see a rivalry like Florida State go away. We could see there's multiple rivalries be taken away. This is not good for the sport. Anyone that thinks this is good for college football, I strongly disagree with you because it sets the precedent of the historical stuff doesn't matter anymore. And listen, I know what USC how they look at it as hey, we got to travel all the way to South Bend, Indiana. That's a long travel. And I know Jackson's I'm going to let him speak on that because I know he's got something to say. I, and that's the thing too. If this is what this is about, then why did they join the Big Ten? Because
Exactly.
you're gonna have to travel to Indiana anyway,
You have to
Iowa.
travel to Purdue. So I mean, there's
It,
that.
if that's the case, I won't speak on it because I don't have any insider knowledge. I'm not in on it like that, and I don't think Jackson is either. But we can only speculate what we think it could be, and if that is the case, then they need to do some serious looking in the mirror. Now, if it's from Notre Dame's perspective, because Notre Dame, they want to play this rivalry. There's been multiple reports. They've reached out to and already offered another 8-year extension. USC is the one kind of like, I don't think so. I mean, what do you think, Jack? What do you think could be the cause of this?
Well, I know that USC, since they joined the Big Ten, they don't want to have to play it on rivalry week anymore, unfortunately. I honestly, I don't see what the issue is having non-conference rivalries on rivalry week. Because I mean, it's like you get to have Notre Dame, USC, the rivalry week in the even number years, and in the odd number years, you play it on the middle of October. Although it was played on rivalry week quite a lot from 1926 to 1960. So I mean that was pretty cool, but still, if this game is not
Mm-hmm.
played annually every year, that is a
Uh-huh.
death knell for the world of college football.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. My thing is, like I said, is this opening Pandora's box? It very well could be. Because let's be honest, Jackson, we're already getting to the world of where Florida, they've already come out on record saying they don't think they should play Miami as often. They don't think there's anything to that.
Oh, they've been that
USC.
way. They've been that way since the late '80s, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that one bit. But oh well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Penn State,
Mm-hmm. Like,
they've not been playing Pittsburgh annually since they joined the Big Ten in 1993, right? And then,
mm-hmm.
yeah, they've only played Pittsburgh from 1997 to 2000 and 2016 to
Mm-hmm.
2019. That's it. 8 times since they joined the Big Ten. That is not right. You are in state. You should be playing each other. Notre Dame, USC, not playing each other. It would be devastating for the world of college football. It would be
And here's
devastating. These two are not playing each other.
mm-hmm. And here's the thing too, Jackson. And like it says, Florida has not played Miami annually for decades.
Yeah.
That's also true too, BB. And Trojan Fight also says Notre Dame was reportedly offered to move the game to September and
Mhm.
decline. Okay, so that's a new one on me. So if
Yeah.
USC was willing to make it work and Notre Dame kind of spat in the face, then okay, I could
Yeah.
see where that relationship went sour.
I
Because
don't care who's
if
at
they
fault.
really
I'm holding them both responsible. I don't care. It's both their fault at this point. I blame both the administrations. I don't care whose fault it is. I hold them equally responsible. I hold them
mm-hmm. And
responsibly for
Trojan
pissing
Fight
me the hell off. So that's just what I am.
and Trojan Fight says almost every other one of those rivalries are in-state. Any guesses how far apart USC and Notre Dame campuses are apart? I'm willing to bet further than any of those in-state rivals. That's a good point, Trojan Fight. Then why has this rivalry been played so long? Then would be my question. If travel has been an issue, if that's what it is, then we
I mean,
shouldn't have had this to begin with.
it was never an issue in the Pete Carroll era, but I know that it was in the BCS era. But I think it's also because of the playoff field and
Uh-huh.
whether we're going to be seeing. Trojan Fight makes a good point. I mean, I'm not just to let you know, I'm not mad at the fans are not part of the administration. I ain't mad at the fans. No worries, relax. I'm mad at the athletic directors and the head coaches and the athletic departments of both teams. That's who I'm
Mm-hmm.
mad at. That's who I'm having a hissy fit on right now. But
Mm.
yeah, he brings up a good point. There's an unknown factor in how there could be a deal for the Big Ten SEC to have a matchup every year with one opponent from each. Yeah, I don't want that. If it's going to screw up the Notre Dame USC rivalry, if it's going to screw up any shot of their seeing Pittsburgh Penn State annually, then I don't want it. I don't care if I don't get to see a Bama USC matchup once a decade. I don't care if I don't get to see Bama Ohio State, Bama Michigan. Screw that. I want the rivalries to stay. I want the rivalries that were taken away in the 90s, the rivalries that were taken away in the 2000s, the 2010s, the rivalries that were taken away before all of us here were born to be back in all of college football.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what I
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Jack.
I mean, I'm not blaming Notre Dame for being independent because it's like it's like our guy Mark Rogers says, he doesn't blame them one bit for it. Yeah, it's they're gonna do what benefits Notre Dame. You can't blame them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like good grief.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing too, Jack.
I
And
think a
before,
lot of teams, why they're so mad at Notre Dame for not being in a conference, it's because they're jealous of the independence they have. They're jealous that they get to make their own schedules, have their own TV deals, and not have
mm-hmm.
to share everything. And they're mad that
Mm-hmm.
they got to share the money, share the profits, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
So, real quick, Jack, I want to expand on that point. So, I don't like giving this person credit, but I'm going to. And here's the funny thing: Colin Cowherd, for the last 3 years, he's been barking up this tree of how USC Notre Dame's been in jeopardy, and we've kind of all shrugged it off, right? And I know, Jackson, you've told me he does that just to say, get some views, be a shock jock. Well, Jackson,
Mhm.
maybe he had insider information that we never knew all along.
Oh,
Because
I'm
for the last
sure.
3 years, he kept telling us, he said, enjoy this while you have it, because in a couple years we may not have it. I never thought any more of it. And I thought maybe it was a Southern California bias. Maybe it was just he's a USC guy. Maybe he didn't see Notre Dame as competition anymore. So he's trying to play it off. But it seems like he knew what was up before any of us ever did.
Of
And
course.
that's where I'm just like, okay, I'm going to start listening to him a little bit more instead of just shrugging him off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still kind of not too crazy about everything Cowherd says, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm just, yeah. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just kind of in a bad mood from this rivalry possibly going away. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I
And
don't like. And remember, I'm not pissed at USC people or Notre Dame people. I'm pissed at the administrations. So it's like they're kind of on my shit list right now. Like Jen Cohen, Lincoln Riley, they're both on my shit list. So it's like they should both be fired for even thinking about having this rivalry taken off, honestly, or at least be
mm-hmm.
put on the hot seat. To tell you the truth.
So, mm-hmm. And to Rough Rider's point, a loss can mean such a big hit financially on the schools. That's a good point. Now, I will say this. And I know Jackson's not going to want to hear this, and so cover your ears, Jackson. If this rivalry goes away, it's going to hurt Notre Dame more than it will USC. And let me explain why. Because USC's got Big Ten money. They got the Big Ten TV contract. They're still with Ohio State, Michigan. They're still playing those big time games. Notre Dame, this is their biggest income on their schedule, possibly. They lose that, it could really hurt them. And here's the thing: let's say Notre Dame goes 10-2 one year, Jack, and with USC not on their schedule, not only do they lose that money financially, but they also now don't have a credible win on their schedule some years if they don't schedule properly. And the committee will be, no. So this could be bad for Notre Dame more than it could be USC. I know some people may say this is going to be bad for USC.
Oh, it will be.
Why do you think it'll be bad for USC, Jack?
Because
nobody's
going to care about some cupcake game. Nobody's going to watch some cupcake game that's on the schedule. I mean, who are you going to replace Notre Dame with? Purdue? Illinois? I mean, nobody's watching USC Purdue. Nobody's watching USC Maryland. Like, they're only going to watch if USC's losing. Like, if USC's beating Maryland, yeah, you beat Maryland. Good for you. Get a cookie. But
USC
I mean,
Clemson?
Nobody's going to be looking at like USC UCLA. That's a great rivalry, no doubt about it. But who are you rivals with in the Big Ten, really? I mean, nobody's really thinking about USC Oregon being a rivalry or USC Washington being a rivalry. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Why Notre Dame Clemson has become like a 12-year series starting in 2027 because like Notre Dame knew this was coming, unfortunately.
And here's the thing too, like you said, Jackson, like you said, you're mad at both of them. You have their right to be. I just feel like I feel like there's something out there that hasn't been said yet because it seemed like it was all roses and dandy, and now we get hit with this. And I know, like I just mentioned, there's been a couple big Southern California medias saying this is going to happen, this is going to happen. But it just seems like this came, like they seem like they were fine and content, and now all of a sudden we're at this point. Something went wrong somewhere that someone's not telling us, or am I overthinking things? Like, am I crazy, Jack, to think that? Or is this just a money thing and I'm way overthinking it?
I think it's a little bit of it. I think it's the money thing. I think it's the playoff path, a little bit of everything. But I mean, if USC like decides they're not playing the Notre Dame series anymore, and then they're padding up their schedule with easy wins, and they still don't make the playoffs, it heads to roll on the athletic department. Because that's what's going to happen. Because it's like, if you're getting rid of this rivalry, and if you go 10-2, you finish in the top 4. That's great. That's great for you. Good for you. You're in the playoffs. But if you're 9-3 or 8-4, you come up short every year. You lose a game that you shouldn't. Heads are going to be rolling. I mean, there's going to be people going at Lincoln Riley and Jen Cohen. They're going to be like, somebody's got to go. And it ain't us, it's you.
Well, and here's the thing, too. Let me ask you something, Jackson. I mean, overall, like you said, and like B-Bean's telling me, without Notre Dame USC, it's the money and he said it's all about the money, Austin. Without annual USC Notre Dame, better chance for playoffs.
Pete Carroll wouldn't have done that.
See, here's the thing, too. The thing is, Notre Dame gets to keep all their money because they're independent. And I know deep down inside, there's probably a lot of media and people that dislike Notre Dame for that reason. There was a lot of people that think Notre Dame should join a conference because of that, because they don't like that they could schedule whoever they want when they want. And they're like, you shouldn't be able to do that. That's not fair. That's a disadvantage.
Well, life isn't fair most of the time. You still do the right thing, even if you don't like it. And the right thing is making sure Notre Dame USC is annual.
I mean, here's the thing, Jack. If you're in the negotiation meetings tomorrow morning, what could you say to these two organizations to get them to agree on something? What would you say to them besides other than quit whining and sign the contract? Would you say we'll offer you more money? What do you think could be had to make this work?
Money, or better yet, How about in rivalry week on the even number years? We play Notre Dame USC on rivalry week. And in the odd number years, how about we start the season off with Notre Dame USC? Week 1, Labor Day. How about that?
And it satisfies both parties. Notre Dame still has their tradition, but USC doesn't have to play them late in the year anymore.
Or better yet, have the Big Ten go back to 8 conference games as well. That's another compromise. Mm-hmm. So this way, Notre Dame USC can play each other annually.
And B-Beam says that's a good compromise, Jackson. I would agree. Or how about this?
Thanks, B-Beam.
I think I got one, maybe, Jackson. Obviously, other than money. What if we make a deal where you make a series where you played a neutral site one year on the schedule? I know that goes against tradition, but like you said, Jackson, I like your idea. But on that third year, it's a neutral site, and they meet in the middle somewhere. So we're South Bend, Indiana to California, and they'll meet in the middle in New Orleans.
Do it.
I could see that work.
This rivalry, do whatever it takes. I mean, hell, Florida, Georgia play in neutral site. Texas, Oklahoma play neutral site. Let's have Notre Dame USC be neutral site then. If that's what it takes to keep the rivalry, then that's what it takes.
Have USC Notre Dame play in New Orleans, or have them play in AT&T Stadium. Have them play somewhere where they meet in the middle.
So bad.
That way. Mm-hmm.
Let Jerry Dome let Jerry Dome have his money just as long as this game is played. Let me play the Rams Stadium. I don't care.
This is a good point.
That's fine by me. Fine by me.
He said, how about a game in Denver? It would be a way better place in the middle for both schools than New Orleans. That's a good point. That's good. That's a good point, Dave. Good point. And it could be early in the season, too, week 1, so they don't have to play in the cold. They'll work it out with the Broncos. They'll be, say, here.
There you go. Well, Big Bean.
And Trojan Fight, not to cut you off, Jackson, real fast. Trojan Fight says, I do a live like 20 minutes from AT&T Stadium. We got us a winner. But to B-Bean's point, though, go for it, Jack.
I really don't know, and I don't care who has more power. They need to suck it up and do it anyway. Because life sucks
I don't care.
For a lot of people, and they need something to look forward to. And the Notre Dame USC rivalry is what a lot of people look forward to. You got to have something to look forward to. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame USC is that rivalry, my friends. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Davey asked Clemson
because
Notre
Dame. So
go for it, Jack.
Yeah, I think so. Like Notre Dame knew this was coming, so that's why they scheduled a decade-long series with Clemson.
I mean, here's the thing, too. And Clint Moses says, how about fly him to Ireland? Go across the pond where no one's got any advantage. I mean, Kansas State, Iowa State, Florida State, Georgia Tech did it. Who says Notre Dame SC can't do it? They both got to travel. Both have got to spend money. I mean, and it can happen the third year of the rivalry.
Fine by me.
I mean, like you said, Jackson, I know you want. Dave Linsky asks, it says, how many times of that rivalry had national championship implications? At least 7 I can think of off the top of my head. Here recently, it hasn't been as impactful. The last big Notre Dame USC game was the Caleb Williams year. I remember the year Notre Dame, I believe it was the COVID year, or no, the year after COVID. Yeah, it was the year after COVID. Notre Dame had to beat USC. I mean, here recently it's starting to get the luster back of importance of winning the game and making it mean something again. And B Bean says, in the last 7 UNC Notre Dame, USC's 1-1. Yeah, I know on paper that doesn't look good. And Jackson will tell you he doesn't give a crap though. I know to your earlier comment, B
You don't see
Beam.
Alabama bailing out against Tennessee because of like losing in Knoxville. You don't see them doing that.
Here's the thing, Jackson. It does Bean have a point if USC's only won one game within the last 7? Is there a point of where Notre Dame's like, okay, I get it's historical, but we're kicking your butt. Like, is it time for you to bow out?
No, you don't bow out.
And to Bean's point here, I also think if you have not won a rivalry game in 3 to 4+ years straight, it is no longer a rivalry at this time. Unpopular opinion. No, I agree. If you keep getting beat, then it's almost like, okay, you become big brother to little brother. It's almost like,
I
you got me
mean,
one
like
time.
Alabama, Tennessee was looked at in that statue at one point. But what happened? Tennessee upset Alabama in 2022, ended that losing streak. Washington, Oregon was looked at in that regard going into 2016. What happened? Washington ended the losing streak against the Oregon Ducks. Now you see people talking about the Oregon-Washington rivalry. You don't see people going on about, Alabama Auburn's it's like it's not that much of a problem. You don't hear people saying that. I mean, yeah, Alabama's been beating Auburn throughout the 2020s decade, but it's a dogfight every time Alabama has to go to Auburn. You don't see anybody quit that rivalry. You don't see anybody going, oh, well, we want an easier playoff path, so we're not going to play this game anymore. I mean, I'm sorry that I'm getting a little, I'm frustrated tonight, but it's just, don't blame me. Blame the moronic athletic departments. I don't care that they make millions of dollars. They're overpaid. Yo, traveling fools, how you doing tonight, good buddy? How you doing tonight, good buddy?
What's up, traveling fools? All about the U. Anywho, but here's the thing, Jackson. We know it's not the TV deals because NBC and Big Ten have an agreement. We know it's not CBS and them. I don't think the TV contracts have anything to do with this rivalry possibly coming to a close. I don't think that's it. I think we could roll that out.
TV deals mentioned. If the TV, I saw like Trevor Trowbridge and Brian Driscoll today on the Irish Breakdown. And they talk a little bit about like once TV negotiations are talking about this and like the TV contracts mention like you want to have games like this. And NBC is going to be talking in the ear of Notre Dame. They're talking in the ear of the Big Ten. And what's in NBC's best interest? Having the Notre Dame USC rivalry. It's not just in the best interest of Notre Dame, not just in best interest of Notre Dame, but also the best interest of the Big Ten as well. This is a huge rivalry game in all college football, and television networks should want a game like this. You should want this game on your television set. You should want to watch this on your laptop or your desktop or on Amazon Prime, where Al Michaels is calling it. You should want, everyone in all college football tentative. What's up, Ballard Sports Media? You should want everyone in the whole country, the whole world, tuning in to the Notre Dame USC rivalry. Yes, they did. Unfortunately, Trojan fight, but backstory behind that, Notre Dame didn't want to cancel the Michigan series. They didn't want to cancel the Michigan series. But because they were like, we want to keep the Michigan series every year after 2014. But then they left the Big East for the ACC. The ACC was saying, we're going to give you a 5-game deal starting in 2014, where you have to play 5 opponents from that conference. And this has been the situation ever since. And they were originally set to join in other sports for 2014 to 2015, but then things were going hitting the fan for the Big East, which I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get I don't want to get Austin in any trouble in any way. But anyway, the Big East, things were going really bad because like Notre Dame sensed it. They were like, okay, we got to join the AC pronto, starting in 2014, 2015. But then it got moved up to 2013, 2014, starting in, I believe, March of 2013, because like the other Big East schools like Georgetown, St. John's, the Catholic Seven decided they were going to leave the original Big East. They didn't take UConn with them. They were like, okay, things are going bad as well. Like, things were really bad with Georgetown, St. John's, Villanova, and Marquette were leaving the original Big East. But the ACC game deal for football started in 2014. That was where the 5-game deal started. And after that, like some years, you've seen Notre Dame play 6 games with the ACC, like 2015, for example. That's been a major example. But that is the thing, though. And I appreciate you bringing up that point, Trojan Fight, because I know that gets talked about a lot. But I do wish.
Hold on, Jack. Not to cut y'all, but listen here, Darrell. Listen. This is different, Darrell. We're in 2 different worlds here, okay? Listen, we're going to put a call in link here in a minute for anyone that wants to talk to us, since you're in here being. See, listen. See, my Nuggets lost, and now Darrell's kicking me while I'm down. We get it. Kentucky, they have beaten us more in basketball, but don't act like y'all are hot stuff. Come, go ahead, Jackson. Go ahead.
There we go. I do, Rough Rider. I do wish that could happen too, because if Notre Dame was joining the Big Ten, then that means they do get to play USC on Rivalry week for good. And they get to go back to play Michigan on an annual basis. And they get to play Michigan State on an annual basis. And they get to go back to play Purdue on an annual basis. And they get to play more games against the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, seriously, who doesn't want to see Notre Dame, Ohio State as a conference game? I know I do.
Time out. Jackson, I like their theory about this, but there's 2 problems with this theory. Is Notre Dame is still under contract with the ACC. And I know teams break the contracts all the time. But if they break the contract with the ACC...
It's America. Lawyers will find a way to break out of a contract. That's what America's about, is having a lawyer in a 2-piece suit, finding a way to break out of a contract with a nice-looking pen and a big, fat wad of beer.
And here's the thing. The thing that worries me, though, is if they do break out of this, then that could start a whole nother war. Because, let's be honest, if Notre Dame was to say, I want to join the Big Ten in order to save USC, save this USC rivalry,
right
that's fine.
That's the thing. Notre Dame's not going to do it right away. Once you see like Florida State, Clemson, Miami, and a few other schools decide they're going to bail on the AC, join the SEC or the Big Ten, that's when you're going to see like Notre Dame go, okay, we're going to cut bail on the ACC.
Here's the problem, though. One problem with that is then Notre Dame will have to pay the money. They'll have to buy us out, and they don't want to do that because then that takes away from them. Because whenever you buy yourself out of a contract, Notre Dame being independent, they have to take it out of their own pocket. They can't say, unless they could talk to the Big Ten and be like, hey, can you buy us out of this? We'll pay you back. Like, so if they want to pay a big sum of money, I'm all for it because that's just going to help our conference. I know.
Don't look at the chat. Oh my god. Oh man.
Jackson sounds like he's in super alimony.
He said same thing about you,
Oh
man.
my god.
Oh my god. Oh man.
What's this got to do with TV contracts? Alimony's for a child. Anywho, but that's the thing though. Notre Dame could do that in theory, which would be good for you, Jackson, who loves the sport and everything. But the ACC would be like, no, we're going to get our money. We're not going to let you just walk off into the sunset and have this affair without no repercussions. You're going to pay us our millions that we're owed. We're not going to let you go sleep with the hoe, so to speak, and you just get away with it. And in this case, no offense, USC's the hoe. But in all seriousness, though, much love, though, much love. But that's what it basically is. Notre Dame is in love with USC, but their side chick, the ACC, is like, you owe us some money. But that would be what that would be, and that could leave a black eye on Notre Dame as a program because no one would. You don't think it would? Because
no,
then everyone would be like,
it's
no.
Again, it's America. Everything is somehow a lawsuit. Contracts are going to be broken somehow with an ass load of money and with a lot of lawyers with a lot of nice pants and a lot of Ben Franklins and a lot of slit talking.
Yeah, and Trojan Fight says, I wouldn't be surprised if this decision has already been made, just not public till a future date later this year. And see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, for someone like Jackson who loves this rivalry, it's going to break his heart that they're going to make him wait. Jackson's going to be all excited. College football's going swimmingly, and then, yeah. Notre Dame, USC.
I'm probably going to have to make sure that I kind of watch my tongue a little bit on not just this channel, but a few other channels as well, because it all depends on who I'm talking with. Because it's like, I really have nothing nice to say about this rivalry. And a lot of you have heard me tonight. If y'all like me getting too upset, I'm sorry about it. Just know it's not anything personal. I just don't like seeing rivalries get upset or taken away. Yep.
Jackson knows is over, including many traditional rivalries.
Yeah, I'm still on the 5 stages of grief on that, good buddy.
It's like one of them things where it's like a woman breaks your heart and then you still haven't gotten over her. Like in this case, USC Notre Dame is
a breakup you can deal with, but like a rivalry, a tradition being taken away, that's just a terrible stain on the country when a tradition is taken away.
I mean, here's the thing though, Jackson. If you're a casual fan though, do you really care about this rivalry? Because this is where we're going.
Because it feels like the casual fans don't care. Because it feels like it's being catered to the fans that don't really care about the history of this sport.
Because that's the thing, Jackson. We're going towards the casuals now. Hardcore fans like me and you, Jackson, who love this sport and watch it, who's up until 4 a.m. sometimes watching Colorado State. We love this kind of stuff. But if you're a casual and just watch the big games, you may not care because you may be like, I'd rather watch Alabama play Georgia rather than watching a traditional Bama rivalry. And that's what's sad, is the casuals are taking over the sport we love, which is in turn is causing these teams to be like, well, I guess we don't need this rivalry anymore. They're not worth it. And Trojan Fight says if the SEC goes to 9, some of those teams will look at getting out of rivalries. Why? Because it's money. You add another conference game, you make it that much harder to get bowl eligible.
Oh,
you can speak on this better than me, Josh, since you're the SEC guy.
It would suck if the SEC goes 9 conference games, because that does worry me. if some of these rivalries do go
Mhm.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, Jackson. As an Alabama fan, could you imagine if they were like, Bama, you know, who's Bama's rival out of conference? Who would you say is their biggest non-conference rivalry?
Well, I mean, I know like a lot of Gen Z millennials don't care about it, but like Georgia Tech, because it's like they're literally in the Alabama fight song.
Mm-hmm. And you're real, yep, that's been talked about too. UVL UK is going away if we go to non-conference games. Yep. That, like I've read reports that that's going. It'll still be around in basketball, but it just won't be a football thing anymore, which is really, really, really sad. Because that's the one sport Louisville could beat Kentucky at consistently. Anywho, just kidding. But B Bean says regular season is just not as important as it used to be. Yep. And B Bean says eventually teams will bench the best players during the conference championship. Oh, don't start that. Don't do that to us, B Bean. I know it's coming, but don't. No. Let's not start that just yet. Please, dear God, not yet.
I don't like
And
playoff expansion.
Can we go back to the 14, please, before it's too late?
Or go to
if this is what this is going to turn out to be, and this is what it's going to cause to happen, then go back to 4 or go to the traditional 2, and then split everybody back into the Big East. Please do something. You're killing our sport. Oh gosh, dang it! No, what 16 is coming? Oh f. Well, we're screwed, Jackson.
Yeah.
I'll say this though before we get to calls. Overall last thoughts though, Jackson. What's your parting word before we hand the keys over to our audience? Give me your final plea. Talk to Lincoln Riley and Marcus Freeman.
I'm glad that Pat Forty at Sports Illustrated is writing these articles because it tells me he gives a damn about this rivalry. He's hinting like, hey, do not destroy this, bros. You're destroying a generation. You're destroying everything if you get rid of this game.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, Jackson, real fast. Lincoln Riley, Marcus Freeman, I don't know if you care to hear this or not, but if you love your team and you love your sport, we're telling you as fans, please keep one last thing intact for us. Let this rivalry continue. Let the tradition live on. Please. For all that is holy, for USC, for Notre Dame, for traditional rivalists, I beg you, let it live on. Don't do anything rash. Jackson, I made my plea. Make your plea. Maybe they'll listen to you since you got the connections.
I don't know about that, but I've already made my plea tonight. I think the audience heard enough of me having my bitch fit tonight.
I'll say this too, Jackson. I mean, it's sad that we've come to this point, but maybe it's not too late. Maybe there is something we can do.
I feel like if the TV networks, the networks and the people making the TV contracts saying that we don't want you getting rid of this game. The people that are behind all this, like the athletic departments at USC and the Notre Dame athletic departments that are like, no, we don't want to play it at this time or that time. They're gonna be like, no, we were just playing. We were just playing. So it would be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, like Michigan, like when they had an easy non-con for 2022, 2023, they were going to play UCLA for a home and home, but then it didn't ensue because like UCLA canceled a home and home. I remember that. I couldn't agree more, Clint. I could not agree more. So that I agree. Everybody deserves one, maybe more than one non-conference rivalry. Everybody deserves that. Like honestly, that would be cool. But we know it's not going to happen. Trudge Fights ask, is Oregon State going to continue playing Oregon every year, or is that temporary? I think we're going to find out within after Oregon State. I don't know, honestly. I really don't know. I really hope Oregon State play each other every year after this year. That would be great. I mean, now that's right. My bad, Hummus. Thanks for the correction, good buddy. He says it's actually Michigan that canceled the UCLA series. They wanted more home games. Good God. Like, I mean, they would have defeated UCLA twice, but I mean, oh well, you get UCLA as a conference game now. Good evening, David. How you doing tonight, good buddy? We appreciate you tuning in. You're gonna
Good evening, Mr. David, and welcome aboard. And lucky for you, David, you found the right channel, whichever one it is, mine, Jackson, the universe, whatever led you here. You will not, it did not misguide you, good buddy. You are going to be on a thrill ride of a lifetime. Me and Jackson are like Batman and Robin of college football. So welcome aboard, good buddy.
Wait, which
and with
one's
that being
Robin?
said, though, Jack,
I wonder which one's the Robin.
I'm
though.
Robin. I'm Robin. Man. You're Batman. You're Batman, good buddy. You're Batman.
Oh my God.
I
love what B Bean's saying.
Hey, listen. That's what we compliment each other as, B Bean. I'm the Robin, and Jackson's the Batman. He gets all the glory, rightfully so. And I'm Robin. I do it in the dark when no one notices. See, Frank Paco even agrees Jackson is Batman. See, we're all in agreement here. Listen, we're not evil, though. Trojan Fight says I was going to go
penguin are you going with? Trojan Fight, which penguin are you going with? The one that was played by Burgess Meredith or the Danny DeVito one? We got to know, good buddy.
Oh, boy. David said, I heard there was a crazy Ohio State fan on here somewhere. Where is he? Yeah, I have no clue. I mean, we've had crazy fans, but... And Rough Rider Return says about Joker. Hey, I'll be the Joker. I don't mind being the Joker to Jackson's Batman.
Honey, baby, pumpkin pie, Holly. You know I can't stay mad at you. Where are you? Holly, if there's one thing I can't stand is a joke being explained. And don't call me Puddin'.
Yeah, Robin was pretty badass, especially on the Titans Max series, according to Yama's Hero. Listen, Batman and Robin's one of the greatest duos of all time. I mean, let's be serious. So I'm giving me and Jackson a really great compliment here. Would you like me to say we're Crypto the Super Dog, and he's Bat Dog, and I'm Crypto the Super Dog?
I remember that show. That was on Cartoon Network.
I was like I was trying to talk ourselves up here. You gotta have confidence. If you don't have confidence, Anywho, we went from talking about one of the greatest rivalries all of a sudden to the superhero world. Anywho, Jackson.
Let's put that call in
Jackson or
lane,
me will
please.
put the call. I'm getting to it, Batman. Gosh.
I got it.
Or Batman took care of it. So noble of you, Batman. So noble. And of course, Jackson being bossy had to make me put an Alabama background. So bossy. I don't know how I work with this guy. I really don't.
Oh man, we got Darrell on the line. What is up, man?
Hold on. Whoever says to the Batcave the best in the correct way can be back. But first, before we do that, Jackson, proper introduction. How dare you disrespect the real MVP? He is a legendary caller at the voice of college football, a Kansas City Chief lover, and a Kentucky Wildcat, and one of the greatest callers you'll ever hear on college football. Welcome in to the show, the real MVP. What?
Well, thank you, Austin. Thank you. I'm sure, we've both had a rough day on our baseball teams going 0-1 in their conference tournaments, so it's been a rough day.
Darrell, I didn't go too hard tonight, have I?
No, not at all. To me, this is, actions and decisions have consequences, and when everybody says under the sun, well, we're probably going to go to 4-4-3-3-1-1 model or a 4-4-2-2-1-1-1-1-3 model. Non-conference games are unfortunately going away, and they're going to be preseason games, Jacksons. I know your favorite type of sporting event to watch is games that literally don't matter at all in terms of the NFL. Now, they're not actually going to be preseason games, but they're basically preseason games. Like, you've got to play Mercer or Southwest Lafayette or Florida State or teams like that. They just have absolutely no chance of beating anybody good. And that's unfortunately what we're going to have going forward.
Yeah. I'm afraid you're right.
And here's the thing too, Darrell. I will say about that is we've been kind of trending that way anyway. I know you've been a culinary in the mind, so to speak, on it for a long time. I remember you said it a couple years back, even before we had the expansion. You and Mark talked about how eventually we're going to be playing meaningless games, and sure enough, Darrell, we're getting closer and closer to it by the minute, especially with this news.
Yeah, I thought, what I a few years ago was sounding the alarm that this playoff structure going, to me, the death note of college football, not in terms of the sport is dying and going away forever or anything like that, but we're going to be in a contraction phase, in my opinion, for the next 15, 20 years because of greed and poor management, i.e. from the Pac-12 dying away is a good example of this. And everybody decided, well, this product can't fail. It can't fail. It's too big to fail. Well, the solution to going back to old traditional rivalries, going back to traditional roots, traditional conferences, Jackson's not going to like this answer, but it's the only answer, and it's don't watch the games.
Yeah. And Darrell, here's the thing. It's sad that we've gotten to that point where it's just like, just don't watch the games. Because I feel like if we don't just watch the games, then you would think that would help the cause. But like you're saying, it would only make them do it even more because they'll be like, because there will be people like me, Jackson, that will still watch it no matter what.
Oh, there will be people like you. See, what's going to happen, in my opinion, is there's a percentage like us that'll watch no matter what, but there's a larger percentage of people known as the casuals that will just follow. Because what happens is they like the product the way it is, and they don't understand the new changes. They don't follow the new changes. They don't understand why they're happening. And then they're like, wait a minute, what's all these new changes? Oh, I don't like these new changes, so therefore I'm just going to watch something else. And that something else could not even be another sport. It could literally just be anything else. And that's unfortunately the direction I feel like we're going with this. And, my sport that I liked and happened to in the early 90s was NASCAR. And that sport was much bigger than college football, if you can believe it or not, Austin. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about that type of fall from where it's now just a regional southern sport. But I feel like that's the exact same thing. I just see all the signs of hearing from the history of what happened to that sport is happening to college football. You had a product. It was working good. You had stars, you had teams, you had storylines. What happened? The stars left. You changed the format in order to get better TV ratings. You decided to ignore your hardcore fans. You try to expand into bigger markets, get better idea, do all this stuff in order to appeal all to the casual fans. But when you do that, you lose the essence of who you are. And that's unfortunately what's happening with college football is they're losing the essence of who they are.
Yeah. And the thing too is that's what really sucks because the NFL is starting to get that way too, like going overseas more, raising ticket prices, and deciding, oh, instead of like what made the NFL so special was they always had Thanksgiving games, right? And the NBA was dedicated just to Christmas. That's what separated two sports. That's what made them both special. If you were a basketball fan, Christmas Day was your the best day ever. And the NFL, if you were an NFL fan, Thanksgiving was your day. And now the NFL's like, oh, casuals, they're catering more to the casual people of let's play on Christmas. And it kind of goes to college football where they're taking all of our traditions, all of our values, what made the sport special, what made it great, and they're ruining it piece by piece, one at a time. It, almost in every essence of what you said, Daryl.
Yeah, and I know Jackson will never stop watching. I know Austin you will, but there's way more people who just watch a game just to watch a game for the sake of watching the game than there are people like us that know the players on the team, the head coaches, all that stuff. I bet you the average college football fan cannot name ace player from a single team.
Yeah.
That's how uninvolved they are. And in my opinion, what's going to happen is this playoff structure is going to cause so much confusion that it's just going to be like, well, I can't even follow what's going on. I'm sorry, but Austin, me, you, and Jackson have been dissecting this new playoff, and it takes about a minute to 2 minutes to fully explain the playoff structure. Sorry, to the casual person, to the new person you're trying to bring in, they're just going to say, "Cool, don't care." That's what's going to happen. Or there's going to be, in addition to that, there's going to be some percentage of people that are kind of in the fringe between casual and hardcore that's like, man, this is changing way too much and I can't understand it. So they'll just completely tap out.
And I'll say this too, Daryl. Like me, you, and Jackson, I guarantee you bring one person that's just a casual watcher and tell them, other than the star players on our said teams, can you name the non-stars? And they'll look at you and be like, huh? Like if you ask someone to name someone other than Lamar Jackson on the year that one of those Louisville teams, they probably couldn't do it like I could. Or if you asked them, hey, Daryl, what about the Kentucky? Other than Anthony Davis, can you name me another player? You could probably do it like that. Whereas a casual watcher could not do that. Or Jackson, can you name me someone other than Derrick Henry on that team? The casual probably couldn't do it. But Jackson can do it like that. No problem. And that's where we're heading.
Mark Andrews. I always like watching old Mark Andrews at the Ravens.
So, do you think in terms of, because now we're starting to see those unintended consequences of expanding the playoff. If we had to run it back and we just did a democratized poll of everybody gets a vote and you get a simple decision, do you want the college football playoffs to be 16, 12, 4, or 2? What do you think the percentage vote would be? Everybody just gets one vote, regardless if you're a Fox executive, hardcore fan, or just casual fan. What do you think that vote tally would be like now?
I mean, maybe we can either go back to 4 or go to 8.
if I was to put a percentage on it, I
Whatever
would
brings back
say
rivalries.
if I would to say, I would say right now, I would say more. I think a lot of people would be in favor of going to 16 because they've seen the success that Arizona State had against Texas right now. Because they're like, oh, upset can happen, or oh, a team like big brand name Penn State, who we know in big games seems to be very unlucky, but hey, we could create a favorable path for them. I could see a world where they say, oh, let's do 16 now because we can add Ole Miss or South Carolina in, and maybe they could cause some chaos. I could see a world where that's a thing.
Well, Austin, if that's true, then we're doomed. That's sport. we're just doomed. I wasn't expecting that answer, but that's a really good answer, my man. I hadn't thought about it in those terms, but yeah, that's that. I can't really disagree with that answer fundamentally. But there's certain people that I think beforehand were saying the alarms of going to a 12-team playoff, a 16-team playoff. Now I've been raising this flag for a few years, and people call me crazy, but I'm still going to raise it, and I'll probably be right in 2030, 2032, something like that. A 32-team playoff. If we do something like that, then the whole regular season is going to be completely destroyed, because what it's about is these companies view the record as an obstacle. They already have a conclusion of who the best teams in the country is, and they're going to try to reverse engineer it to get those teams in the playoff. The easiest way to do that is just expand to where these teams basically are guaranteed into the playoffs no matter what happens.
Yeah. And it's basically becoming what Mike Leach said a couple years ago before he passed away, RIP, is why don't we just turn it into March Madness college football style?
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to those Sundays where we look forward to playoff. It's going to start December, the second week in December. You got Alabama versus Michigan State, number 1 Alabama versus 7-5 Michigan State.
God. Oh no,
that's gonna be bad.
I hope that doesn't happen, but it does feel like it's trending to that point.
Yeah, it's sad, but this is the way it was going. This is the way I always thought this was going when it was expanding to 12 teams. I didn't see any situation where the SEC and Big Ten didn't put their foot on the ground and say, hey, this is what we're going to demand. We're going to demand the most amount of playoff spots. And that's one of the reasons I was so against it. Did you all see any other way we could have had a expanded playoff structure where the SEC and Big Ten said, you know what, guys, let's look out for the structure of college football, and let's help this and make it so the ACC and Big 12 and the G5 get someone included for the overall growth of their game?
I mean, the conferences are going to look out for themselves. And, it's like we said, that Mark Rogers said, like, he never blames Notre Dame for looking out for themselves. He's not blaming the conferences for looking out for themselves. I don't either. But the fact of the matter is, you're not going to see the conference commissioner sitting there thinking about the future. They're thinking about their conferences. And it sucks, but that's the reality we're in, unfortunately. And in a way, I really don't want to see SEC Big Ten challenges and non-conference play if it means that the rivalries that were taken away in the late 80s, early 90s, and in the early 2010s, early 2020s that were taken away, if it means that those rivalries aren't coming back, I don't want them, honestly.
And here's the thing, too. I mean, the best solution could be Jackson's point of an 18 playoff, where we have an 18 playoff. Because here's the thing. I mean, a lot of people, what the bone of contention for some is conference championships are going to go away. And here's the thing: if you're making conference championships, and I really think what set us back, and to your point, Daryl, is Florida State getting screwed over. I think kind of started a downward spiral. I may be way off, but I really think this whole conversation is only happening because Florida State got screwed. Of every conference being like, we want equalness, we want equal. I really do think that because if Florida State had gotten in, everyone would be peace and quiet.
In 2022, when they announced that we're going to go to 12 teams, this is before Florida State got left out in 2023. The fact of the matter was, like, they thought it was going to be no more 2 SEC teams getting in the playoffs and no more of this sure thing like it was in the 2017 season or the 2021 season. They thought we were going to be seeing less of that, but that backfired heavily.
And I think Florida State getting left out too didn't help anything, because then all of a sudden everyone was like, oh, we know where the bread is buttered, which anyone with eyes knew the SEC is the best conference, and more than likely they're going to get 2. But that's kind of where I stake my opinion at. I think it started there and it's slowly trickling down now.
Let me ask you this. Do you think the narrative in the conversation has shifted because of the 13-0 Florida State? I think Jackson's true that it was implemented before, but I think the easiness of which it was implemented and the lack of pushback was because of Florida State being 13-0. And I feel like it's a almost scar that, well, we could go back to the system where a team that was undefeated in a major Power 4 conference was left out. I think the narrative was set and people are still like traumatized almost of we can't go back there because of it. What do you think about that?
I think it's a good point. You know, it's like they're so focused on we can't go back there, but once they see, once those same people see the Notre Dame USC rivalry going away, they're going to be kicking and screaming, going, I didn't think this would happen. I did think this would happen. Well, Darrell's been warning your asses. I've been warning y'all. Austin's been warning y'all. Mark's been warning y'all. Everybody has been warning y'all. What do you think would happen?
Well, let's be fair now. Mark has always been a pro 12-team playoff expansionist type person.
Yeah.
I've been against the 12-team playoff expansion from literally the beginning because I understood the direction it was going down to, or at least my opinion was different than his. And he had a valid opinion in terms of the objectiveness of it.
Right.
And he wants it more of an objective criteria. I understand that. But the problem is when you make it objective, when this sport should be, in my opinion, more subjective based, because there's just not enough of a sample size to compare these teams. You know, it's not like the NFL. The NFL, you play 12, you play about a third of the league every single year. That's a pretty objective metric. You've got a pretty large sample size. Whereas in college football, you play what? 2-3% of the league?
Yeah.
Like we have almost no data points that at the SEC is better than Conference USA based on head-to-head comparisons. But everybody knows that the SEC is better than Conference USA. I don't need that substantiated by games played in the regular season. And that's the difference between, I think, my opinion and Mark's opinion. I'm not saying his opinion's wrong and my opinion's right, by the way. It's just a difference of way of looking at the world.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, too, Darrell. And I want to say this to your point about the Florida State thing. What I think it did was it set off the alarm bell because the College Football Committee, for the longest time, has always staked the claim of if you win your conference and you're undefeated, we will not leave you out. We cannot find a way to do that. That was their exact way of putting it. If you go undefeated and win a power conference, you will have a spot. We will not deny you. And the fact that they did that just began to show people, oh crap. Not only are they not sticking to their word, but the tradition of the past is also going away too. And now people are starting to realize, oh shoot, Notre Dame USC is in dire straits as well. And they said that rivalry will never go away. And guess what? We're on the brink of losing it now. And it's all trickling down one by one. Next thing you know, Daryl, we'll be doing your idea of it being an SEC Big Ten merger, playoff only, and everybody else
Yeah,
to
Super
play at the
League.
kid. Mm-hmm.
It'd be a Super League. And unfortunately, I feel bad for all these other teams, but they don't matter. And also, I think there was a dynamic shift around 2014 that was really the patient zero of all this, even before 2020. And that's the playoffs being by far the most important thing in the sport. I think we've lost sight of what the actual most important thing is, and that's the regular season. You know, Austin, I'm sure you can remember a year, some random game where you beat the number 2 team in the country and ruined their season. And those years are exciting because you had an impact on the national championship. We can't win the national championship because our teams aren't just good enough. We just don't have the resources as for everybody else. But when you put the playoffs as the most important thing, what you're telling everybody by implication is if you can't make the playoffs or aren't good enough, then you don't matter. And there's nothing to play for. It's not like the NFL or the NBA or the NHL or anything else where it's like you can play for being terrible and getting the number 1 pick and then rebuilding. You literally have nothing to play for in college sports.
Well, here's the thing too, Daryl. Tell you this quick story. So the year Clemson went on to the Elite Eight, which was 2 years ago now, we ended up beating them at home. Clemson could have been projected. I think they were projected as a 3 seed, and thus us beating them, even though we had no shot of making the tournament, we were awful, terrible, all that good stuff. They had a shot of being a 3 seed, and because they lost, they trickled all the way down the ladder within a heartbeat like that, all because they lost the game to us in a game that they had to have. So I get your point. And like you said, in college football, it doesn't seem like that matters anymore.
Right. And, you know, I think you're also a good example. Louisville didn't have an impact in terms of who winning the national championship. But, hey, even last season, you all beat Clemson at home, and you all were their second loss. Well, if it was a 4-team playoff, you all could say we eliminated from Clemson from winning the national championship or being in the playoffs. And that would be something. Instead, it's just this game in which it really doesn't matter because Clemson still made it because they proved they belong in the playoffs because they barely beat the 17th best team in the country in a neutral site game, even though there's only 12 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. Or for example, Daryl, here's a really good one. What about the year Florida beat Utah? This is a good one because you remember, even though Utah lost 3 games that year, Florida started them off 0-1, and they went on to win the Pac-12 that year. Let's just say that they hadn't lost to Florida and they hadn't lost one of those other games. They would have only lost 1 game that year. But the fact they lost to Florida immediately put a blemish on their record. Even though they won the Pac-12 and affected USC's chances, it's like a trickling down thing. By Florida beating Utah and Salt Lake City, thus, I mean not Salt Lake City,
Gainesville,
yeah,
2022. You're welcome.
It started a trickling down effect. It knocked Utah out of contention like that.
Right. And now, unfortunately, just don't have the situations that can arise until late in the season. Like, the earliest this can happen for a team that can realistically make the playoffs is November. I mean, and it's sad. It's sad that that's the direction it's going to go. But in terms of this specific game, I don't blame Notre Dame, and I don't blame you. If you're USC, I'd be doing everything I could to get out of this game as well.
Ugh, don't say that.
I hate to say it.
It's okay, man.
I hate to say it,
Jackson's
but
gonna get mad.
think about it. If you could have a season where you play, a juggernaut SEC team like LSU, you play Ohio State, Penn State, and then Notre Dame on top of that, and then you got some team. You look across your conference and you see Indiana, who beat Southwest Kennesaw State, the Little Sisters of the Poor, the Little School of the Blind.
Yeah, well, Indiana's not blue blood.
Yeah, but they still made the playoffs. They still
Okay.
made the playoffs despite beating nobody outside of Michigan. Their best performance was losing to Ohio State by like 3 touchdowns. And that's why they belonged in the playoffs. I mean, if you see that and you look at your schedule, you're thinking, man, we play this team that's better than them every year, this team that's better than that, this team. Man, we need to lighten up and we need to get some cupcakes. We need to get some fat in here. Missouri State, Kennesaw State, Jackson State, come on down. We need some free wins in this thing.
Like Darrell, everything you're saying right now in Jackson's head is upsetting him because
I mean,
because
I hate saying it, but it makes sense. It's like, oh man, I feel like I'm choking on those words, but it does make sense, unfortunately, because a lot of teams want to make it easier on themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing too, real fast is, which Darrell, you probably know this. Jackson has a rule: if you're not a blue blood, you don't have to schedule tough. But if you're Alabama, SC, Notre Dame, he expects you to have the toughest schedule possible. But the way the committee is treating it, though, they're going to punish you for that because, let's be honest, Alabama, they went out and scheduled Wisconsin. Now, it's not their fault Wisconsin ended up being poop, but they tried, and they ended up beating Georgia, who won the SEC. But what did Bama get in return for that? Not a gosh dang thing. They got kicked out on the couch. They got kicked out on the couch and back.
You know what? Maybe Alabama should have been in the playoffs. Maybe Alabama should have been in the playoffs this year. I mean, I can't say who was calling for Alabama to play in the playoffs, but I mean, all they did was beat Georgia. I don't know how good Georgia was. I think they were seeded number 2. Maybe that's being more impressive.
They won the SEC, so there's that.
Well, I think, now call me crazy, but beating the number 2 team in the country is more impressive than beating a 7-5 team, a 6-6 team, and another 6-6 team. Now, I don't know what math you all do, but to me, that's like more impressive.
Now, Darrell, listen. Don't disrespect the greatest 7-5 team that ever laced them up in Michigan. They beat the eventual national champions, Ohio State. So therefore, transitive property.
I don't understand people that call it the 2024 Natty a Mickey Mouse title. I don't understand. Like, I need it to be explained to me like I'm 5.
The reason they're doing it just because they don't like Ohio State. That's one. And 2, it's because apparently if you don't go undefeated, it doesn't count. So I guess most titles just don't count now because most teams don't go undefeated in college football when winning a national championship. You know, they're 14-1 usually. So
I mean, we don't see like Bama talking smack to Georgia for not winning the SEC in 2021. We don't hear like Auburn saying, "Oh, well, that 2017 title where Alabama won it all was a Mickey Mouse title." It's like you never hear that. You sure as hell don't see Tennessee from 1965 or Georgia calling 1965 a Mickey Mouse title for Alabama. It's like you don't see that.
So here's the thing. If we want to go down that rabbit hole, guess what, Jackson? Your titles, they're Mickey Mouses because you didn't go undefeated those years. Georgia's, they're Mickey Mouses. While we're at it, 3 different sport, but Kentucky's, they're Mickey Mouses too because y'all didn't go undefeated in basketball.
I don't think anybody outside of I don't think literally anybody except maybe the one UCLA team with Kareem went undefeated.
Yeah, but
So
I'm doing it joking.
yeah, I know.
No,
It's just
joking.
all fake. It just all doesn't matter. If you go,
Added
unless
to the lunacy we're seeing is like the Ohio State representatives, not Ohio State fans, relax, no worries. The Ohio congressman who's deciding, let's write a bill to have bid noon kickoff on, except for Ohio State, Michigan. No bid noon kickoff game is not going to have Ohio State. And we're going to write a bill and we're going to vote on that. Really? You got way too much time on your hands, buddy. Shouldn't you worry more about the weird homeless guy taking a dump on the phone booth? I mean, you should worry more about that. You should worry more about trying to fix homelessness. You should be worrying more about your state economy, your state neighborhood, your schools. You should worry about medical care. You should worry more about health care. You shouldn't be worrying about bid noon kickoff. You shouldn't be worrying about flag playing. I tell you, these two representatives in Ohio, and I forget who their names are, they got way too much time on their hands. They have way too much time on their hands. They're a bunch of lazy asses because they're coming up with bills like that. But they don't even come up with stuff like trying to fix healthcare, trying to fix anything involving making sure the state of Ohio is great, making sure you fix the water supply. But no. Don't flag plant on the Ohio State logo. Don't put our games on bid noon kickoff. No. It's like that. I've had my words say on the morons that are running the state. Like, this is why you never call state officials or officials of any kind leaders. I vomit. I choke on my own vomit when I hear them called leaders, because they're not leaders. They're officials.
Jackson, back in the pen. Chill, calm down. Back in the pen. Go heat you up a hot pocket and get back in the pen. Get back in the pen.
Back in the pen.
But BB was asking, how many years will it take to get an undefeated national champion? Basketball, we've come close a couple times. Kentucky, Gonzaga did it the year after COVID almost. Kentucky almost did it. I think those have been the two closest. So, but as far as football, we'll probably see another one here pretty soon.
It depends if they want to do it. It's like the NFL of a lot of teams don't go undefeated. If you're 15-0 and you got a game left to go, and you've clinched everything, and you just rest, I don't know how much going undefeated is going to matter going forward, because you don't get like a special trophy or a cool symbol that says, "Hey, we went undefeated." No, it's just national champions. Nobody says the undefeated world national championships. Nobody does that. It's just the national champions.
Yeah.
And also, if we have a scheduling model, most teams will go 9-3 or 8-4.
Well, it's like, here's the thing, Darrell. Let me ask you something. The Chiefs, they're a good example of this. One of the years they lost, I think, 5 games when they won the Super Bowl. Does that make their Super Bowl any less impressive? No. They lost 5 games, yes.
Giants went 9-7 and won the Super Bowl 2011.
They won the Super Bowl. That means they're the best in the world. They're the best team going bar none. Don't matter what the record is.
I see Hummus's comment about him. Listen, I went to the Louisville, Kentucky game a few years ago where Louisville was ranked top, I don't know if it was top 10, top 15. They were ranked highly up there in Kentucky. Little old Kentucky was 7-5, which means, of course, Kentucky won that game because that's what Kentucky does. They just beat Louisville, regardless how good they are. But the traffic for that game was like 2 hours to get into the stadium. And it's like, you got to get up at like 8. Then you got to leave or something like that if you're anywhere around the region. Then you got to wait in traffic forever. And then you got to park, which is like 15 miles from the stadium, as it usually is. You got to pay like $1 billion to park because, apparently everything has to be monetized regardless. You get a popsicle and it's like $29.99. It's ridiculous. So I kind of agree with
real,
Thomas. Let's make these night games. And I feel sorry for the tailgaters. I tell you what, you get to wake up, you get to tailgate for like 30 minutes, then you got to go into the game. That's got to be a rough life, man. Hey guys,
Yeah,
let's hang
like
out at this RV for 30 minutes. I've got this 12, RVs are pretty expensive nowadays. I got this RV for 30 minutes of tailgating for Penn State. Then we got to go into the stadium and watch us beat them by 7 points. Let's do it.
Well,
yeah, like I
why don't we
understand you're
bring
paying your
Minnesota Dave on? Because he's been waiting for a long while. Let's go ahead and bring him on with Darrell for a little bit. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing. Can I be Jack Nicholson's Joker?
Absolutely.
sure. But you are a golden gopher though, so
Good
that
night,
might be
Trojan
first.
Fight. It was good having you on. It was good seeing you, good buddy, and stay safe and stay away from that heat.
It's hot
Yeah.
outside in the summertime. Okay, anyway, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I blame the NCAA for all the problems. They should have been the biggest coalition in the whole entire college sports, and they never ever have. They let the conferences run the whole entire football show, and that's the problem you have right now. They could have had an NCAA playoffs for college football years ago, but decided not to.
Yeah. I know you, Minnesota Dave, listen to Greg Flugauer a lot from Peek Around the Corner. Great guy, by the way. Very great on conference realignment. I would say the best in terms of conference realignment, but he's been pretty pro expansion. I wonder with, I've fought him, not fought him like literally, I've clapped back at those arguments a few times. Do you think he's going to understand, in my opinion, the error of his ways of what expansion has done to the sport? Or have you seen it? Have you seen the concerns of people like me being bared out because we're losing a lot of good rivalries? We're losing a lot of good non-conference games, traditions. All of it is just going away completely.
It was going away once the Big East failed. I mean, once the Big East failed, and Nebraska decided to leave the Big 12, and they ended up losing their rivalry with Oklahoma. You can see it, starting, and then Notre Dame is, let's just face it, they go in there with their big swinging dicks and they know what they can do, and that's basically what it's been. It's trying to keep this tradition with Notre Dame. This Notre Dame tradition. They couldn't join a conference years ago. Should have joined the Big Ten years ago.
Well, the Big Ten, like they actually wanted to join the Big Ten in the 1900s.
Yeah,
and
because the goddamn Big Ten anti-Catholic sentiment.
That's just so wrong, man. It's like that was, I mean, because it's like Notre Dame went into it's like the nerd that wanted the hot girl in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Hot girl says no, but then the nerd becomes Ryan Reynolds 10, 15 something years later. And then the girl from high school that turned her down is like, you remember me from high school? Oh, we were so close. Nope.
No, I don't remember you.
It seems like you just described Florida State trying to leave their conference in a nutshell.
Jackson.
Speaking about that stuff right now, I know that one of your guys' biggest rival, Tennessee's in a bit of trouble with the SEC right now.
They're suing the NCAA, or one of their players is, for fifth year. No, seriously, he's suing the NCAA for fifth year of eligibility because he feels like it. He just wants it. He feels like it, so therefore he deserves it.
Love it. I love it. It's like Tennessee, like they're gonna lose. Like, oh my god, it's like I can't wait to see them lose to Florida again in Gainesville this year. I am gonna be like sitting there with popcorn and a Coca-Cola with that game, and I'll make sure I got some 3D glasses for that one.
But you guys are right. I mean, everybody's doing what Indiana has been doing. Let's just put a bunch of cupcakes now in our schedule.
Once the viewership is low, what's going to happen is the networks are going to get really pissed, and they're
Oh
going
yeah, because no one cares about Bama playing "What's the Matter, You."
yeah. I mean, they don't want to see those games. Like, they don't want to see Alabama, Eastern Illinois. They don't want to see USC, Missouri State. They don't want to see Ohio State, Tarleton State. They don't want to see that. It's like, oh God.
Yeah,
Like,
but Jackson, look at all the new rivalries that can be created. I mean, the good question is, will Alabama win by 70 or will they win by 40? Isn't that exciting?
Well,
if you
I don't know
want it
what
to
you
be
guys.
exciting, put it on like Disney Channel. Like, maybe they'll make those games.
Jackson, it's
Oh, time
it's
for the Mickey
nice
Mouse
of
National
you.
Championship.
Oh God,
That was
Jackson,
good. That was good.
See, here's the thing, Daryl. Here's one problem. See, Jackson up there on mountaintop, he doesn't understand what it's like to have little people problems like me, you, and Dave down here with Louisville, Kentucky, and Minnesota. See, we need these cupcake games to boost our resume. Whereas Jackson, he could stand to play a Notre Dame more often.
Well, they need to do it. They're doing it for two different reasons. One, they don't want their players to be hurt. And two, they don't want to show their playbook for when they actually have to play somebody good, because with the automatic qualifiers format, there's no reason anybody should play anybody good ever. Because if you're one of the four best SEC teams or Big Ten teams, you're never going to need to use your non-conference resume to get in. Like, if Texas is good enough to beat Ohio State, they will be a top 4 SEC team. If Ohio State beat Texas, they will be a top 4 Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we know a certain guy that was calling in on the Alabama call-in show that was like talking about barbecue, like Longhorn meat. It's like, oh my God. It's like, it was just too funny. He doesn't call in. He's hiding out somewhere.
There was a Kentucky fan. I watched some YouTube videos of them going around. Every year when the Kentucky plays Florida at Kentucky, they grill gator, which feels like it has to be an acquired taste to eat a gator.
I've had gator on a stick at the Minnesota State Fair.
Can you eat it? First off, that's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
You all have that
Drew,
type
can
of
you
thing.
send me that YouTuber's name in the private chat? He sounds like somebody that should do like Kentucky at the boys' college football as well.
And second off, Minnesota, Dave, that feels like the most Midwestern thing I can imagine. You've got something at a state fair on a corn stick. That's just completely random. That feels like the most Midwestern thing. All it needs to be is like snowing down, and everybody's got like their all-wheel drive pickup truck or four-wheeler going on, and then it's just perfect Midwestern stereotypes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's America right there. I mean, you got like a bunch of people eating a bunch of stuff from Walmart and buying stuff from Amazon Prime, and some slick talking lawyer talking somebody out of a big contract and paying a huge buyout.
Jackson, you're not doing yourself any favors by you keep saying that. The chat's already suspicious that you owe alimony or something. Don't say that. Leave that to me. Don't say that.
I'm just breaking out my
doing
inner
this
George Carlin tonight, and I mean, doing it at 1 a.m. is perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, shoot. That makes me wonder.
I
It makes me
promise
wonder.
I promise you, Jackson is not drunk. I don't think so.
No,
But-
I'm stone
and-
cold sober. I'm stone cold sober.
Oh, to bring this back somewhat in the realm of what we were talking about,
Yes,
do you all think
yes,
we
Daryl,
should?
do my job better than I can.
Do you all think the Notre Dame should load up on a few more ACC cupcakes in order to get like 7 or 8 games? Because There's
Join
plenty
the
more
conference.
Pitts and Virginias out there that needs the game.
Are they gonna make Miami annual?
They should.
Please.
They
If you're gonna
should,
get
but
rid
they
of it-
won't.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I mean, they want to make Clemson annual, but they don't want to make Miami an annual game. Like, my God, it's like make sense of that. I mean,
I guess they're steep, so to speak,
The old
as
tradition
they
of
say. They're
Catholics
still
versus convicts.
I know, right? I mean that should be on
It-
Black Friday on odd number years. I mean, it's like who's really getting excited about Notre Dame, Stanford?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what, the ACC, what they are doing that's smart this year is they're putting some elite matchups on Friday night that a lot of people are going to watch.
Well, they got me watching, that's for sure.
Yeah, Louisville has, I think, 2 this year. We played Miami and I think Clemson on Friday night.
Well, that's good for you guys. That's huge for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is kinda
I mean,
cute.
that's one of the best games of a Saturday. Those two could arguably, but that'll definitely be the best game of Friday night.
Which-
Minnesota, Dave,
Which
do
is
you think your Gophers, if they go 9-3, belong in the college football? I don't know who you all play. I'm just going to be upfront with that. But at 9-3, I've been saying there are certain Big Ten teams that belong in the college football playoffs, even ahead of 11-1, 10-2 other teams in the conference.
Minnesota Cal, I suspect they'll be on CW. Unfortunately, I don't see
Oh,
that. being on
gosh.
ABC.
Well, fortunately, it's going to be a win for Minnesota because Cal is horrendous and they don't care about football or any athletics, really.
Well, I mean, like not caring
Minnesota
about
better not be
football is
favored.
costing you your whole offense. That's what's happened to Cal.
Here's the thing, Drew.
Personally, the two biggest games I feel that that basically are definite losses for Minnesota are at Oregon and at Ohio State. Other than that, I think every other game is at least winnable. Illinois is a winnable game. Iowa isn't going to be all that great, but that's what those Iowa and Illinois are going to be the make or break games for Minnesota. If they win those games and win up the rest of their games, except for Oregon and Ohio State, yeah, I can see them being in, but it depends on how other teams do too, because we do not play Michigan. Nebraska is a toss-up. We don't really know how good Nebraska truly is, and they're kind of like, we've had their number the last, I think, 5 years straight now. So it's going to be interesting for Minnesota. If Max Grosmer was still quarterback, I think we can easily do it, but unfortunately, he only had 1 year of eligibility when he was with us. So
I'm still wondering what the other Black Friday game will be for the Big Ten because I just don't see Nebraska, Iowa being the solo one, but I know we'll find out by next week, honestly.
well, they already say it's Saturday for us, for Minnesota, Wisconsin. They might change that to a Black Friday. But I don't want that. I don't want that to be though at like noon on a Friday. If I'm going to be honest with you guys, and actually, I really don't like it all that much. Personally, for me, it's just more of like I like on occasionally going to Wisconsin right after Thanksgiving dinner and having a day off in Madison, and then being able to watch the game in Madison on a Saturday. Even though I know we're not playing in Madison this year. But that's why I like that tradition. At least every 2 years, I get to go to like Madison, Wisconsin, and watch the game. And it's been a lot more fun lately. They'll go to Madison, Wisconsin, since 3 out of the 4 PJ wins have been in Madison.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like I'm familiar with like before 2017, like Minnesota, Wisconsin was basically death, taxes, and Wisconsin smacking Minnesota off the face of the earth from 2003, 2016. I mean, yeah, Wisconsin beat Minnesota in 2017, like usual, but then 2018, I'm at the Iron Bowl with my uncle for first time in my life getting to go to an Iron Bowl. And I see on my phone that Minnesota's beating Wisconsin to clinch bowl eligibility. And I'm like, holy crap, things are really going up in Minneapolis right there. I mean, I know it's not quite the 1930s and 40s where they were winning natties, but still, though, it's still amazing
that was
all the
huge.
same. You're ending the losing streak against the Wisconsin Badgers.
That was huge because we were talking about Notre Dame and USC. There was a time from like the early 80s to like the mid 90s, Notre Dame just killed USC almost every year. And when
1984 through 1996. That's right.
yeah, and then USC finally won, and they celebrated like they won a national championship. And then for a while, Notre Dame went like what 8-9 years without beating USC back in the early 2000s.
Exactly. I mean, like 2008, I'm remembering the non-con schedule off the top of my head. Virginia, which, I mean, they went 5-7 that year, but that was like that was the year after they were fighting for the Coastal Division title in 07. Ohio State smacked them off the face or 35-3, I believe. But then Ohio State finished second, lost a tight one to the Texas Longhorns in the Fiesta Siesta Bowl. And of course, Notre Dame. I mean, yeah, Notre Dame went 6-6, but I mean, that's still a pretty good non-con. Like, they had all Power 5, all automatic qualifier teams at that time. That was huge.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting, and we're talking about other sports, and like I think I left it in the chat. I don't know if you saw it, but I just don't want college football to end up what's happening in Europe and Europe soccer right now, with a lot of these owners trying to make these big clubs trying to make one big super league in Europe, and it's going to be a joke.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah.
You and I are not in the big club, like George Carlin said in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I love George Carlin. He was so great.
Oh man, he was one of the goats. Like his monologues were amazing. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh man, like, are you in Discord, Dave?
Discord? What do you mean?
Like, do you use like social media beside? Like, I know you don't use Twitter and Instagram, but it's like
I use Facebook.
Are you in Discord as well or no?
I'm in Facebook. That's it.
Oh man, we're gonna have to send each other a lot of George Carlin clips.
I'm under Evad Volinsky.
Alrighty, nice.
In Facebook, I just because I do Facebook because it's just easier for me to do look and find concert dates for shows and stuff like that on Facebook. I won't do Twitter for political reasons.
That's fair.
I joined Twitter and I didn't realize how much, like, I knew it was extreme both ways, but I didn't realize how extreme both ways it is. It's pretty, I've seen some pretty wild takes, but man, they wilding out there.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, at some point, like, I do plan on getting political people for the Jacksonian. Like that, I do plan on getting those people on. Like, I don't know who it's gonna be, but you'll know them when you see them. Like,
I don't think this is exactly a hidden mystery, Jackson, if they're political or not. I think most people that are political, pretty much in the first 15 seconds of a video, you understand, first off, they're political, what direction they leave in, their entire set of beliefs, and why they believe those things.
Well, I can promise you this. You're going to see like a lot of people with different beliefs and like different parties, different takes on that shit, on the jazz side. I promise that. Cause like you'll still see like college football people and NFL, because I've been talking about this with Austin, and I've talked about it with Jeffrey, and I've talked about it with a lot of close family members, like off air. Since day one, I've been planning on not just sports, but I want to get everybody on the show. I want to get all kinds of people. Like I don't care who you are. I want you to come on in. Come on in. Give your take. I don't
I
care if you
think it's
go.
going to be tough to get the wigs on here, Jackson.
Well,
No.
I mean, if I thought it was going to be easy, I
That was a
wouldn't.
political joke that didn't land. The wigs died. Like their party died in like the 40s or 50s.
Well, I mean, sometimes you
Time to
got
bring
to.
back the wigs.
But I'll tell you this though, like you will definitely see you'll be seeing all kinds of people, but no worries, you'll still see the sports, but you'll see college football, NFL, NBA. Like I haven't had an NBA guest on yet, honestly. Like that's weird. Like I've been shooting for NBA people, but you'll definitely see them come on.
If you're gonna think about politics, doesn't Erica, Iowa Erica, isn't she like a big political person?
Yeah, her and Sean Gardner are pretty political. They're
Yeah.
pretty outspoken about their views, and I'm pretty sure they have basically the same belief system.
Yeah.
But that's for them to discuss. That's not for us to speculate. That's just from what I'm seeing.
I don't know her politics at all. I don't want to go into that.
Oh, that's all right.
You
But
know,
yeah, I've been kind of thinking about like just kind of expand, because like I just want to get plenty more people come on Jack Sane episodes, and I want there to be like more episodes where it's like twice, 3 times a week where there's like releases like that. That's my plan. But and I know Austin's got more plans to create some magic on Sports Talk with Austin, where he had on an amazing live stream where he and Darrell were talking a lot about the Nuggets and the Thunder for Game 7. I mean, you've heard a lot about me, but you have not heard enough about the magic Austin's creating on Sports Talk with Austin. And I look forward to the great guest he plans on having on Sports Talk with Austin.
I I I appreciate that, Jackson, but I'm just here for you, good buddy. I'm along for the ride. I'm here to help you, good buddy. We're gonna get you to the mountaintop.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of you, and I hope I didn't go too hard on Notre Dame USC tonight.
It's all good, Jackson. It's
No, what this
understandable
thing is,
because
this is going to happen more and more, and it needs to be like called out every single time it happens because it's how it happens. You first off, something bad happens that you don't like, but then the noise just becomes part of standard society. It's been normalized, and then when people accept the noise, that's when you've really lost. So Minnesota, like they've already lost their game against Michigan, for example, as
that
a key
wasn't much of
rival.
a rivalry. We can easily say that.
Yeah, I know, but it's still a trophy game. It still mattered.
Well, I'd rather just give them the jug by now.
I understand that, but it's a sign of where it's going. Like, would you like? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost like a Wisconsin or a Michigan
No, we would
State or
never lose.
somebody like that, because
We would never
to
lose to
these.
Wisconsin. We would never lose Iowa. As
No,
long
I
as they're
mean,
in
I would have
conference.
said 2-3 years ago, man, this Notre Dame USC game is probably never going away. But listen, if we do, I know some people say a super league, some people don't. But if we end up where the power of balance changes in a radical way, then I feel like some of these key rivalries are going away. I mean, look at Utah BYU. That was one of the fiercest, if not the fiercest rivalry in all of college football, and it went away for a while. So Oklahoma State, never would have thought that rivalry went away. Nothing is safe on the table. I don't even think, maybe the only thing that is safe is Ohio State, Michigan. Outside of that, I feel like nothing's safe.
I can see what you're saying. I would say, if anything, the non-conference rivalries will be gone before the in-conference rivalries. The ones I would be worried about would be like Clemson, South Carolina, uh, Kentucky, Louisville.
yeah, they're endangered.
Those ones are big.
Yeah, the non-power 2 versus the power 2 rivalries is what I'm fearful for next is going to go away. But You know, if you're going to have a league where all these teams are playing one another, these top 10 or 15 teams, you know, they're going to have to beat up on some cupcakes to get some wins in order to hype them up. So they may say, hey, guess what? Kentucky, Minnesota, Georgia Tech. You know, I'm just throwing these teams out as an example. Guess what? You're in this just as a feeder program, basically, in order to lose and go 2-10 and just get these schools prepared. We're just basically a glorified FCS opponent. That's what I'm afraid is going to happen in the future for us.
And you want to know what's sad too is the fact of there's players that still care about these rivalries. It's what you go to these schools for. Like, you look at the players that went to Louisville, they'll tell you the only reason why they go to Louisville, other than the great culture, is they want to beat Kentucky. They want to be a part of that tradition and rivalry. Minnesota, I've heard players on record say they go to Minnesota to play Iowa, to play Wisconsin, to be in that environment because they want to beat those teams. That's what you come to these schools for. It's what you play these games for. And they're trying to take it away from us slowly but surely.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing. I mean, I would love to just not have that happen, but it's like I said, the non-conference ones will be the first ones to go, and then they'll start like picking away at the not bigger rivalries. Like I said, like like your Wisconsin versus Minnesota. Yeah, it's the longest going rivalry in the history of college sports.
If Wisconsin, Minnesota was going away, it expect me to have a bit of a hissy fit when I call in with Mark. I won't have too much of a hissy fit, but I don't want to do anything that gets anybody in trouble.
That rivalry is right now is the longest going straight rivalry in college football. At one time, I think it was us and Missouri, Kansas were like almost tied, and then Missouri, Kansas ended, and that's sad.
I sobbed like a baby when that game would play.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, Missouri, Kansas. Shoot, because of that football rivalry, it bleeded into the basketball. Heck, I think back in the '60s, the two sides actually got in a fist fight. Like the students got in a fist fight with the other students.
And it's funny too. So here's something that I think Jackson knows, but it's funny. So when I watch games, I'm normally hyped, but when we play our rivals, I get into it. Like, I'll start screaming at the TV whenever there's a big dunk, big play, or there's a block something or an interception. I get into it. I feel like I'm out there on the field with them, and I feel like there's a lot of people out there like me who get into it like that, and they're trying to take that away from us. Like, I kid you not, even though I had no part in the game or anything, if we lose that game, the next 48 hours, I'm distraught. Like, I'm a mess because we lost.
Well, you should be an expert in being distraught then, Austin.
Okay, Darrell. Okay. Listen here, Darrell. Listen here, Mr. Darrell. Listen. I respect your opinion. Listen, but do you have to continue to take pot shots at Louisville here? I get it. You all are jealous, and you're the inferior opponent. That's the only reason why you're doing it.
Even a rivalry because we win so much. Said, man, if you all win like 3-4 years in a row, I agree with your take. It's not really a rivalry. Well, look at the last time Louisville beat Kentucky in basketball.
Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. Darrell and Austin love each other like bros. That's why they pick at one another. If they didn't care about one another, you wouldn't see them pick at one another.
Yeah,
I don't know if I care about Darrell. I don't know about that after his comments. I mean, like, listen. As my mama says, if they pick at you, they're jealous because they ain't you. You're just jealous you're not us, Darrell, because Louisville has such a great tradition. You wish you could be us. That's what it is.
Oh man,
He's got no
Dave,
comeback.
did you
Yeah,
see?
I'm the same way with my friends from Madison. Uh, I have a couple friends that went to Madison, Wisconsin. It's the same thing. And my one friend was literally like Bucky for the mascot. He dressed up in the Bucky uniform. He was like a diehard Badger.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he has some really interesting
That must
stories
be hard.
about. Yeah, he has an interesting story about like getting in a physical altercation with the Maryland Terrapin mascot during the NCAA tournament one year.
I'll tell you this, he'll definitely
Yeah.
love what will be. He'll definitely love what I've got in store coming up. Well, I'll be filming Friday, but Saturday I've got my 71st episode of the Jacksonian, and then I'll be filming with Justin Jolka from the Bucky Report.
Oh,
Yep.
I think not is he African American?
Justin Jolka, I'm not entirely sure. Are you talking about Rajiv?
Oh, I'm thinking about the other guy then. I'm thinking about yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Rajiv and Justin Jolka, they do a fantastic job on the Bucky Report. They've been featured on Locked On Badgers quite a few times with Ryan Herring.
Yeah. Yeah, the Locked On Badger guy, me and him don't like each other.
Oh, you don't like Ryan
Well,
Herring's?
He always like tries to he blocks my harassing rubbing it in the last couple of years every time I rub it in when the Gophers beat the Badgers, he always like deletes my comments and all that type of stuff. He also has a sign that says no Gophers on his thing, and like, yeah, screw you, dude.
Oh,
I'll say this too. It's funny though, Dave. You talk about your friend. I once dated a girl in high school. She was a North Carolina fan, and I used to despise the ground that they walked on. Before I'd met Jeffrey, I had no clue she was a North Carolina fan, none whatsoever. And then we're about 6 months in, and then she finally tells me, and I'm like, it wasn't a deal breaker, but I was like, what? This whole time, and I never knew that. Like, and the signs were all there. I just never paid attention. But yeah. So at least Dave, you never dated an Iowa fan or a Wisconsin fan.
No, the closest I ever came to anything is I didn't know about it, but this one girl I was dating, same story. About 2 weeks in, she told me she was a Packer fan. That's just as bad.
I really don't care
Oh,
who someone that I'm dating with is a fan, just as long as they're not doing anything shady. Like, as
Yeah.
long as they're not doing anything shady or doing anything nasty or messed up, I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, even you got to admit though, Jackson, if they came to you and said they were LSU or Tennessee people, you would have second thoughts. I mean, you would
Nah,
be
not
like, "What in the
really.
world?"
Not really. It's like you'd have to do something you'd have to do something really bad to me for me
Be
to
an Auburn
go.
fan?
Nah, not like being a fan of a team's not gonna like hurt your relationship with me.
That's very
For
true.
me
I
to
mean,
be
that's very
like,
true.
I don't trust you or I don't want to be around you, it would have to be something you've done bad to me or someone else that's close to me or someone else in general. That's where I'd be like, okay, yeah, nope, sorry, bye-bye. That's where it would be.
And Rough Rider says he lost his wife last year. That's so.
I'm sorry to
We're
hear
so
that,
sorry, Rough
man.
Rider.
We're
We're so
praying for
sorry,
you.
man.
Sorry to hear that,
We did
man.
not mean to make. We're so sorry. Much love and respect, and God bless. Like we don't want to make anybody sad. So on a happier note, Jackson, let's talk about your love life. I mean, not your love life. Let's talk about Alabama. I don't know why I said love.
Is Bart Simpson playing quarterback this year?
Ty Simpson.
Yeah, Bart Simpson.
Bart Simpson.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
There we go.
Oh my
Bart
god.
Simpson, baby.
He played about as good as Bart during that SF game.
Oh man. Well, we'll wait and see. I mean, we still don't know who the star's going to be, but right now it's leaning towards Ty Simpson.
So it's going to be another 9-3, 8-4 season for Alabama, is what you're telling me.
I doubt it. I think it's more like a 10-2 season.
So
Oh gosh.
I guess they're just deciding not to throw the football at all. That's got to be their game plan if they're going 2-10. Is not throw it at all. You're just going to be forfeiting downs if that's the case. You're playing with a handicap. I don't understand why you would do this, man.
Dario, their playbook's about 5 plays deep. It's called outside handoff, reverse, draw, and a screen pass. They're 5 plays deep.
You know how bad of a quarterback you have to be in order to be outplayed at the passing position by a guy who throws the ball either 10 yards overboard or throws it completely like 10 yards under? I mean, Jalen Milroe, his passing ability was like the 5th best thing he can do as a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know what to. I mean, listen, Dario, listen. This literally, if what we hear is true, this could literally be Iowa 2.0.
Oh,
Run,
gosh.
run, run.
Oh no, let's not go that far. Nothing can be Iowa 2.0. Not even Iowa can be Iowa 2.0, okay?
And Alabama's defense is just going to have to pray they can hold them to field goals.
Iowa only scores on punt or kick returns.
Yeah, it's like watching. The good thing about Iowa for me is when I was, watching these Big Ten games that are 14-17, 10-13 because, they're just like 5 yards and a cloud of dust. And then you watch Iowa and the game's like 2-8 because there's like 5 safeties in the game or something incredible. It's like, good gosh, this Minnesota, Illinois game's got all sorts of offense. They've thrown the ball for 200 yards. They've ran it for 50 yards. Man, we got 250 yards offense. Everybody looks so much better because of Iowa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, Dario. I remember doing that once. I watched one game. It was like 31-24 at halftime. And I'm thinking, oh, this is exciting. And then I flip over to Iowa, and it's like 6-3 with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And I'm like, well, Iowa's Iowa.
Yeah, I remember I watched Iowa, Nebraska, I think 2 years ago, and it was a battle of like 5-6 versus like 6-5, and it was like 4 minutes to go left in the game, and Iowa went 4-0. Nebraska got a few first downs, then they threw a pick, and then Iowa, of course, gained like 1 yard on a drive or something like that, and they kicked the game-winning field goal. And I'm just thinking that's the most Iowa-Nebraska thing that could ever happen. Is both teams try to lose.
I have to tell you a game that I watched. It was the first game, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. They were playing South Dakota State. And here was the score.
Oh, yeah.
5-3, Iowa won on a safety.
Yikes.
Yeah. I remember last year or year before that they had scored 3 points against Minnesota, I think it was, and they had negative 17 yards. But because Minnesota threw the interception, Iowa was already in such good field goal range, the 17 yards didn't matter. And Iowa still kicked the field goal, made it, and still got points out of that drive. It was like unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. I believe that was the Cooper DeJean Phantom game that Iowa fans like to call it.
Yeah, the Cooper. Yeah, I remember that game very, very well. They scored a touchdown just because Minnesota gave up 5 defensive penalties, and they got right on the goal line, and they stopped them on a 4th down. But guess what happened? The freaking who was the? Oh God, what was the safety that ended up going to the NFL about a couple of years ago?
I know who you're talking about, Dave. I can see the face,
Uh,
but I can't name the name right now.
It's 27. It's what is the last name started with an N. Oh, gosh, I cannot think of his name. He's I don't know who he plays for in the NFL, but he got drafted. Well, he ended up like knocking the ball after the play was out of the Iowa player's hands, and then they said that was unsportsmanlike conduct, so they had another go around, and then they got it in the second time. And it was like, yeah, then we ended up getting field goals and field goals after that. And I think we scored, you got 12 field goals. We had one where they fumbled at the 10-yard line. We couldn't get it in because that's the one thing Iowa had was a great defense. You know,
Yes. That's
just
their
a
calling
great
card.
defense. Yeah, and I remember then at the Cooper DeJean game where he just went like this.
Yeah.
And they said that was a illegal fair catch call, and that
Which
should have been called. And that was the one and even the ref said we should have called that on the field. Then why didn't you? You would never had this tragedy if that was called on the field.
it's funny, Dave, not to go down the rabbit hole, but I'll hear some Iowa fans saying y'all rigged the game that year because, and I'm just like, really? Minnesota's gonna rig a game, and that was the year y'all went 5-7, but you got in off.
I was watching Minnesota, Iowa on my iPad, and I was watching Alabama right here on this computer. So I was like, there was no rigging
Yeah,
I didn't see
it's just
rigging.
stupid when they do that.
Horse
Like
gone.
it's like really, I get it. They're like, I understand you're mad, but come on. I mean, like how do you rig a play like that?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting close to wrap up time, I guess.
And my battery's about to die, so I have to go right now.
Oh man, Dave, there we go. We'll be seeing you, Dave. Oh man. Well,
Dave had to leave.
Oh. Well, Darrell, what you got going on this week, good buddy?
Well, I'll be calling into shows. I'll be, tweeting about the NBA playoffs, the college baseball reveal next Monday. Hopefully, Kentucky gets selected in. I know we're right on the bubble, so you know what you do when you're on the bubble. You lose. Because that's what bubble teams do. They lose. They find a way to lose. It's so thrilling to wait and sweat it out. I'll be talking about all that good stuff. Thunder in 4, Austin. Thunder in 4, okay?
Daryl, before you go, I'm gonna stick with this, and I want to make sure everyone hears this. It's gonna be Wolves in 6. I picked the Wolves to come out the West. It's gonna happen. Ant Edwards is that dude.
No, I've already got the broom out, my man. The broom is out. I watched that. Just watched that game today. I didn't think the Thunder even played that well, and they still won by like 30.
Here's the thing, though, Daryl. Not to go too down a rabbit hole before Jackson yells at us, but listen. If the referees would keep that dang whistle in their pocket, the T-Wolves would have won that game going away. SGA is flopping at the wind, but they call it every time. You get sick of it. Because other than that,
I'll just say this. I'm glad that the Western Conference Finals is the winner is going to be a small market team either way. I'm happy that it's not going to be the Lakers and we don't have to hear a thing about them. I'll do you a better. Here's what I want to see the NBA Finals be. The Pacers Timberwolves or Pacers Thunder. Either one's fine with me. I just don't want to hear about the Nets.
That's fair.
Oh gosh,
Austin, I can't believe Shea shot like 30-some free throws. I mean, this final score you're making it sound like was 104 under. It's 114-88. You could take away all of the Thunder's free throws, and they still would have won that game.
Here's the thing, though, Daryl. Daryl, do you not watch how the Thunder play? And I know this may sound like sour grapes coming from me right now.
Oh yeah, they draw fouls, and you know what? They do an elite job of being better than everyone else at drawing fouls. It's part of the game, Austin. Part of the game.
But no. Daryl, listen, Daryl, I know
Don't
you are a
cause legal
basketball
contact. Don't.
I know you are. Daryl, listen, I will say this. You are a basketball connoisseur. You're not an idiot when it comes to this, but when you watch the Thunder play, they are over here pushing, hitting, kicking, everybody on the defensive side of the ball. There's no whistle whatsoever for them. But the second you breathe on one of them, the whistle's coming out. I can show you multiple examples in our series where Jokic is literally getting hack-a-shacked and no whistle, but Shea over here is floundering like a dang fish out of water, and Lou Dort over here trying to do a WWE headlock takeover, and nobody's going to call nothing. But the second Jokic decides to push, they call it. You cannot tell me.
You know who complains about the refs, Austin? Losers. Teams that can't win. Okay. You know what the Wolves, the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Clippers all have in common? They're losing or have lost.
Listen, Daryl. I will not sit here and let you disrespect the team who won it all 2 years ago. Jackson, you could stick that whistle where the sun doesn't shine for a minute. I am not done with Daryl.
Not doing anything, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, Daryl done started a monster. And listen, I'll leave it at this. Daryl wants to disrespect the greatest player that ever lived in Nikola Jokic. He wants to act like Nikola is being a big fat flopper. It's not. You know what, Jackson? Yeah, end it, Jackson. Daryl's done got me started.
I guess I'll see you all on the next show then, and we'll talk about what went wrong for the Timberwolves on next Monday. So look forward to that conversation.
I've got a feeling the Timber. I'm glad that the Western Conference winner has come from a small market team either way. I'm glad it's not come from a big market team. Thank goodness for that. That's all I can say. I got no dog in the fight.
But yeah, listen, I know you don't, but I'm all team Ant Edwards. Anything to stop them front running, dadgum OKC Thunder. The front run. Okay, I'm done. Hush, Austin. I'm hush. Let Daryl go in peace.
Well, we asked what you got going on this week, correct? Daryl?
Yeah, that's correct. I was just going to say thank you, Jackson, for having me on, and you can bump me out.
Well, thank you for coming on, good buddy, and we will definitely be seeing you soon.
Yeah, pleasure talking to you all.
Pleasure talking to you as always, good buddy. Well, now we're at the part where we tell everybody what we've got going on. Austin.
Well, Jackson, I'm glad you brought that up because you know something, Jackson? No, I'm feeling very stressed now. And, I think I might go to bed and relax. And the best way to have a relaxation is get your mind out of the gutter, Jackson. Dadgun it. Is watch the best college football channel going today. Alabama at the voice of college football. It'll make you relax, make you feel like you're in the ocean at sea, enjoying a nice margarita and hearing about the Alabama Crimson Tide. Jackson, what can people expect from you, home slice?
Well, they can expect us to go over our takes on the recruiting trail, including our takes on Xavier Tiller and can Alabama snatch at Xavier Griffin from USC and Georgia. That is what we go over on Alabama with the Voice College Football. And of course, you can check out Monday's edition from yesterday. And we were 103 days till kickoff. Now it's 101 days till kickoff because it's 1 a.m. in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning. So 101 days till kickoff of the 2025 season for the Alabama Crimson Tide, which means 94 days till the magic number week 0 on August 23rd, 2025, between Kansas State, Iowa State. But of course, we've got the Alabama Call-In Show from Jeffrey and myself, where we take your calls for the 33rd edition, all right here on Alabama Voice College Football. We're 15 subs away from 2,600, 415 subs away from 3,000 subs. We have got to show Texas and Oklahoma who's really running the SEC. And the best way to do that is to like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to Alabama with the Voice College Football. Now, we are still kind of figuring out whether the 39th edition of Crimson Tide Live will be on Monday, on account of the fact that Monday will be Memorial Day. So we'll have an answer for you by that time. It could be moved up to Sunday, could be moved down to Wednesday. We just don't know. We just don't know yet. But that is why you tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Publix to like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to Alabama with the Voice College Football so you never miss another episode or another video whatsoever revolving around the Alabama Crimson Tide. And of course, you can check out my past 2 episodes of the Jacksonian from where I have on Nathan Balmer Brown from CFB Mafia, where we talk a lot about the BYU Cougars, the future of college football. And does anybody have to really enter politics just to make some real change for college football? We'll definitely wait and see. And you got the 69th edition of the Jacksonian with Eric Cooper from Unfair Sports, where we talk a lot about the Oklahoma Sooners. And of course, you can also tune in for the 71st edition of the Jacksonian with Justin Jolka from the Bucky Report. And any guest recommendations that you've got, comment them to me, send them to me over on Instagram, send them over to me on @ or on YouTube here or on Gmail. Just email them, send them to me, DM them to me, give me all you got, and I'll reach out to those people. And I'm now 428 subs away from the magic number 1,000. Thanks to all of you guys. And I will tell you right now, you'll be in for a wild ride, as always. And for more updates on what I've got going on the Jacksonian and what I've got going on with Austin and Will and D, check me out. And once a week on the Paul Feinbaum Show, where the weekends are full of surprises. Check me out on Jackson VOCFB on @/Twitter and Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908. And don't forget to watch for an upcoming call on the Feinbaum Show, where I'm going to have my venting session about Notre Dame USC going away, but it's not going to be swearing because it's on television. So no worries. And besides, there's probably little kids watching while their 58-year-old uncle with dip in his mouth is yelling at Paul Feinbaum. So I'm sparing them from my bad words. I mean, the kids are going to be learning bad words, but they're just not going to learn from me. That I can promise you. But of course, for more updates on the Jacksonian and on Alabama with the Voice College Football and other stuff I've got going on, including my weekly calls on the Feinbaum Show, check me on Jackson VOCFB on @/Twitter and on Jackson Johnson 543908 and on Blue Sky Jackson Johnson 987, where the skies are blue, some might say. Austin, what do you have going on Sports Talk in Austin?
So I have a couple different things. Obviously, me and Jackson, as the college football season nears, a lot of you have spoken, and if you were with us last year for Picks and Analysis and Final Whistle, a lot of you have requested that we come back and do that again this year. So if no schedules change or nothing of that, me and Jackson will be back this fall, starting week 0. But a lot of you also requested top 25s, predictions. Well, Jackson's golden rule is after Phil Steele's magazine comes out, that's when predictions can begin. So as soon as Mr. Phil Steele's magazine comes out after July 4th, me and Jackson will be giving you conference predictions. We'll be giving you our top 10 games of the year. We'll be breaking it down hot and heavy to the season. There is no stopping us whatsoever. We're going to make growth this year. I have a feeling. And this is going to be a great year of college football. Even if Notre Dame USC is dying, we will not be mourning the loss. We will be celebrating the rivalry. Well, Jackson might be mourning it. I'll be celebrating it. But
I'll do
you
a
can find
little
me on
bit of
Sport-
both, mourning and celebrating.
more. But you can find me on Sports Talk Ross 2002, where all this great content comes out.
Let's get
And
to
of course on
1,000
Twitter.
subs, everybody.
Yeah. And you find me on Twitter where I give my takes on a lot of things. Lots of things. Everything ranging from professional wrestling to NBA to NFL, and promoting all videos of all kinds of Jacksons and Mark Rogers, of my own to Jeffries. You name it. You name it, I'm there. But with that being said, though, Jackson, it was quite an interesting turn of events. Notre Dame, USC, this could be the swan song. This could be it. And
Yeah.
if there's any breaking news, we'll be back again. Which hopefully no more breaking news. Not keeping us up till
Not
5
that
in the
kind of
morning
breaking
anyway.
news.
But yeah, where we had to start at 6 a.m. Oh, but Notre Dame, USC could be their swan song after this year.
Ooh.
So hopefully everyone enjoyed it while it was here, if this is indeed the last one. But as always, like, comment, subscribe, click on our notification bell so you never miss another great video. Feel free to leave us a comment on anything you would like us to see us do. If you'd like us to go, if you want to see individual team previews, we'll do it that way. If you want to see just an Alabama preview, or if you just want to see a Florida preview, we will handle that. But with all that being said, it's been a wonderful night, been a fun show, and we'll be back again. Hopefully.
We will.
But until next time, stay safe, everybody. And go
Roll
Cards.
Tide,
And go
roll Tide,
Nuggets.
go Cards, and stay away from that storm, everybody.